Welcome to our webinar on how to set up a foundation in Poland. My name is Grzegorz, and together with Kinga.
Hello, everybody.
And our colleagues from Woźniak Legal, we advise our clients on complex legal issues ensuring regulatory compliance. After these short introductions, please let me give you some details about today's webinar. Today, we want to guide you through the essential legal aspects and some practitioner steps of establishing a foundation in Poland. Our plan and intention is to go for about 30 minutes. And after, of course, our webinar, you can address us some questions. You can do it during the webinar using the question mark button. Of course, after the webinar, you can also ask us some questions. Here you can see our contact details, so please use them if you have any other doubts that you would like to resolve with us. We will be most happy to answer your questions and help you. And the questions we will receive, we will answer during the Q&A session and after via emails. Okay, here you can see the proposed agenda of today's webinar. We will explain you some key aspects of creating foundation in Poland, starting from some basic information about the foundation in Poland, through the steps and the procedure that need to be considered to establish a foundation in Poland. And we will finish with some information about the main advantages of having a foundation in Poland. So let us begin with understanding what the foundation in Poland is.
So we do not have a legal definition of a foundation, but based on the Polish Foundations Act, we can say that it is a legal entity established to achieve socially or economically useful public goals. As you can see, these purposes may include, for example, healthcare, economic and scientific development, education, culture and art, social care, or environmental protection. The purpose of a foundation cannot be profit-making, but it doesn't mean that the foundation cannot conduct a business activity. However, this business activity must be additional to the non-profit activities of the foundation and cannot dominate over its statutory activity. Profits generated from the business activity should be used by the foundation to perform its statutory purposes. Polish law does not specify a minimum amount that should be transferred to a foundation. However, if a foundation wants to engage in business activity, then minimum capital is 1,000 zlotys. The foundation does not have formal members in the sense of an association. The foundation operates by its governing bodies, and the persons in these governing bodies are not members of the foundation in the traditional sense.
Yes, this is not the association. This is different way of dealing with the goals by an entity. Okay, so now who can establish a foundation? Very important questions. Who can be the founder? So the founders could be, of course, the individuals, either Polish citizens or foreigners, or legal entities like the companies, the universities, of course, based in Poland or abroad. Also, groups of individuals or legal entities can join the forces to establish a foundation in Poland. This is also admissible. The main role of a foundation, of the founder, is to grant the Foundation Act and the statute, of course. The next important aspect is that the founder needs to transfer assets to the foundation, which will enable this foundation to operate on the Polish market, yes? And of course, the foundation needs to have the governing body, so appointing the management board is also crucial. It is up to the founder what kind of role he would like to play in the foundation, whether he wants to retain some crucial positions, like, for example, keeping the decisions on the liquidation of a foundation, or some entitlements to appoint or dismiss the members of the governing bodies in the foundation. So now let's go over by the step-by-step process of establishing foundation in Poland. As you may see here, this process contains several steps that, of course, need to be followed if we want to establish a foundation in Poland. First, the Foundation Act. This is very important documents and need to be drafted in a form of a notarial deed. The founders may sign this Foundation Act by his own before the notary, or may also appoint an attorney that can represent the founder during creation of the Foundation Act. Of course, this attorney must have in his hands the power of attorney from the founder, and of course, this power of attorney needs also the notarial deed form in accordance with the Polish provisions of civil law. And of course, the form of a notarial deed is not required if the foundation is established in the last will of a testator. The Foundation Act that establishes a foundation should in particular indicate the purpose of the foundation, the scopes of its activity, the assets will be used by the foundation, which will allow the foundation to operate. The Foundation Act itself, it's not enough for the foundation to operate. This is just a creation of a foundation step. The established foundation also needs certain set of rules that structure its activity. And these rules should be reflected in the foundation statute. And now, the foundation statute is the most important internal documents that govern the activity of a foundation. We call this document quite often as a foundation's constitution. Together with the Polish Foundation Act of 1984, it is the foundation's legal basis and day-to-day basis of operation. All activities conducted by the foundation must be consistent with its statute. The statute should also provide certain details about the newly created foundations, in particular, of course, the name of the foundation, the address, the registered office of the foundation, its statutory goals, and of course, information about the governing bodies, and of course, if the foundation wants to conduct business activity next to the statutory activity, some special provisions on this business activity.
So I think now is the time to talk about governing bodies of the foundation. So the management board is the only mandatory governing body of the foundation. The management board of a foundation is usually a collegial body consisting of more than one person. The management board is responsible for operations of the foundation, represents the foundation externally, and undertakes all financial obligations of the foundation. For instance, agreements concluded on behalf of the foundation will be signed by the members of its management board in accordance with the foundation's representation rule set in a foundation statute. Yeah. The composition of the members of the management board is visible in the publicly available register. The Polish Foundation Act does not regulate the way how the members of the management board should be appointed or dismissed. So therefore, all the rules on this matter should be indicated in the foundation statute. Now let's talk about supervisory board. It is an optional governing body of the foundations, which means that there is no legal obligation to establish this governing body. However, if the foundation wants to apply for public benefit organization status, and my colleague will later explain the advantages of having this special status, the foundation should have this collegial control or supervisory body. The main role of the supervisory board is to control financial situation of the foundation and some general supervision of this entity. The statute of the foundation may extend the role of the supervisory board in a foundation. For instance, supervisory board may appoint or dismiss the members of the management board.
Yes, so now you can see that the statute of the foundation is very crucial document, because all the rules of who represent the foundation,
yes,
who supervises the foundation, and what are the key competences of those people, of those governing bodies, needs to be reflected in the statute of the foundation.
Yes, indeed. So the final step to establish a foundation in Poland is filing a motion with the registry court. The foundation is officially established once it is registered by the registry court. From this date, the foundation may officially operate. Once the foundation is registered, the members of the management board may go to a bank and open a bank account for a foundation. This is very important and necessary step for the foundation because it will be able to process all the types of financial transactions. Furthermore, if the foundation is recognized as a VAT taxpayer, it may be required to disclose the relevant bank account numbers on the so-called white list of VAT taxpayers.
Okay, so once the foundation is registered, it may operate. However, it is important to keep in mind that there are certain other legal obligations that need to be followed. So the road of creating the foundation and keeping it alive, does not end here, yeah? So the newly created foundation needs to follow also several regulatory rules in accordance with the Polish and EU law. Firstly, the foundation needs to establish, confirm, and notify the Polish Central Ultimate Beneficial Owners Register. This is something we have across the EU about the beneficial owners. And this must be done within 14 days after the foundation is registered. So please keep it in mind that it must be done, otherwise the foundation may be subject to some heavy financial penalties. Also, the foundation needs to follow other obligations, and those obligations, of course, arise from the general regulatory acts, depending on the scope of activity of the foundation and its statutory goals. For example, like GDPR on processing personal data, or anti-money laundering law, if the foundation receive financial donations, for example, in cash. There are certain rules in the anti-money laundering law about the foundations and other entities that received some donations in cash, about how to act against anti-money laundering situations. Also, the foundation needs to prepare and file some annual reports. One type of these annual reports is regular one, like other entities, for example, companies. And of course, this is a financial report. After the calendar year, the foundation, as other entities on the market, is obliged to prepare and file this financial annual report with the proper authorities. And other annual report that the foundation needs to prepare and have in place is the report on the foundation activity. This is something special. Normally, the companies in Poland do not prepare this kind of document, maybe just a management board report on the activity. But here the foundation needs to prepare this document and file it with the minister that supervises the activity of the foundation. Of course, depending on the statutory goals of each foundation in Poland. As we said at the beginning, there are some advantages, various advantages of having a foundation in Poland. Those advantages are mainly tax exemptions, for example, in VAT or in income tax on the basis of the Polish tax law. But also the foundations in Poland has a possibility for private funding. So it may get some financial donations from the financial donors. And after 2 years of conducting these useful public goals of a foundation, the foundation may also apply for a special status as a public benefit organization. We call it PBO status. And this PBO status gives the foundation some extra financial and essential reputational advantages. And in practice, in particular, this PBO status enabled the foundation to enjoy further tax exemptions and financial exemptions. For example, the foundation in Poland that holds the PBO status is exempt from real property tax, stamp duties, and some court fees, which could be very attractive for the foundation to keep this PBO status. PBO status also allows the foundation to collect tax income return from the individual taxpayers. So the Polish people can support this foundation with 1.5% income tax return. So this could be very helpful from the foundation to operate, getting those financial support. And of course, the PBO status also allow the foundation to conduct so-called public fundraising. We call it in Poland zbiórki publiczne, which is also for some of the foundation very important because these are extra money for the operation of this foundation. And very important aspect of having this PBO status is reputation. And in general in Poland, the foundations that keep the PBO status are widely respected. More often, Polish people, Polish citizens treat those foundations as more transparent organizations. So they are more into give the decision or decide to support these kind of foundations in comparison to the foundations that not have this PBO status. Therefore, we always try to advise our clients that if they want to establish a foundation in Poland, please prepare it properly. Please think about the goals of the foundation you would like to keep in the statute of the foundation, what kind of activity you want to perform as a foundation. So after 2 years, at least 2 years, it could be even later, the foundation is ready to apply for this PBO status, because this PBO status needs to be received by from the registry court. So after 2 years, you need to document, as a foundation, you need to document your activity and apply for the registry court to receive this status. And after the decision of the registry court is positive, you may enjoy those advantages we already mentioned during our webinar. Okay, 20 minutes passed, so I think we are ready for our Q&A session. I think we have some question here. Let us see. Okay, first question is it possible in Poland for already existing foundation to establish a new foundation?
Okay, so in general, the Polish Foundations Act and other provisions of the Polish law do not forbid foundation to create a new one.
Yeah, as we mentioned, the founder could be either individuals or some legal entities. So yeah. It can be done that way. Yeah.
So therefore, in our opinion, it is of course legally possible. But however, we advise our clients to have the provisions that authorize the foundation to create a new one, for example, in their statutes or a foundation act.
Yes, so this authorization, the best option is to keep this authorization inside the statute of the foundation. So there are no doubts that this is doable and can be done that way. So I think from our perspective, it is also important to keep in mind that the process of establishing a foundation by individuals or other foundations and so on should be well thought. And very often, very important is to discuss it with the lawyers to avoid the risk that, for example, creating this foundation by the foundation that already existed may be treated as not in line with the statutory goals of the foundation. So then we can have some troubles. So it's also good to think about this and prepare the documents well, especially the statute, so the authorization for creating a new foundation is in place. we will avoid a lot of troubles with this. I see another question. How long does the average procedure of creating a foundation take in Poland? It's hard to say, but I can say that average duration of this procedure could be up to few weeks till I think 1 or 2 months. It depends how the documents are prepared. As we already mentioned, you need the Foundation Act in the notarial deed form if it's not the last will. So you need to go to the notary, prepare the documents, think about the assets you would like to put into the foundation for the operation and the activity of the foundation. Then you need to think about the statute. So it also needs to be well prepared, and you need to keep in mind what kind of the members of the governing bodies you would like to have in your foundation. Whether your goal is to think about the PBO status in the future. If so, you need to also find people and think about the supervisory body in your foundation, because this is the legal requirements for getting the PBO status. So you also need to decide what role your supervisory body will have in the foundation, whether this will be the governing body that will appoint the members of the management board and dismiss them, what kind of entitlements should they keep, and so on. So it's very important to think about it, whether you would like to think also about conducting business activity in your foundation, because as we said, this is doable and possible. Of course, this business activity must be something extra to your statutory activity, which is the core of the foundation. So you also need to think in what kind of areas you would like to have this business activity, and other factors that are very important. So from our perspective and our experience, creating very good statute of the foundation is a key aspect of in this procedure, because after the statute is ready and you are ready to register your foundation, you have the people that will be in the governing bodies. It's quite easy, because you go to the registry court, you pay some court fees for the registration, and after a few weeks, we can say, you will receive the decision that the foundation is already registered. So it could be even several months, but I think the most important part of this procedure is to well thought statute of the foundation. And of course, it also depends on the court efficiency. Sometimes in Poland, it could take longer due to some procedural aspects from the registry court. So I think to sum up this, ensuring professional legal assistance that will help you to prepare properly the documents and guide you through the process of establishing the foundation is a key aspect in this procedure. Okay, I think we can put a dot here. Thank you very much for attending our short webinar. We hope that you found some important and interesting aspects about establishing a foundation in Poland. In case you have any other questions, you would like to get some further informations, please do not hesitate to contact us. Our emails we showed during the webinar, so we will be most happy to help you and answer those questions. So I think it's all from our side.
Thank you very much for attending and your very interesting questions.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.